The radio crackled, filling the cramped bridge with a static tension that seemed to echo the unease in every sailor's chest. Each hiss and pop from the speaker was a reminder that, out here, every word mattered. In the deep night, searchlights swept across the restless ink-black waves, slicing through the darkness like blades. The beams danced and darted, searching for shapes in the void, revealing only fleeting glimpses of the vast, uncertain sea. Suddenly, a sharp voice crackled through the static. "Philippine Coast Guard, you are trespassing!" barked a voice in Mandarin, the words harsh and commanding, amplified by the cold night air. The Philippine crew stood silent, hearts pounding in their chests. Their eyes, wide and unblinking, were fixed on the looming shadow of the Chinese ship. Every man on the bridge felt the weight of the moment, knowing that a single misstep could change everything. The two vessels, locked in a deadly dance, edged ever closer. Their hulls creaked and groaned as they cut through the choppy water, each side refusing to yield. The world watched, holding its breath, as the standoff unfolded in the darkness. Salt spray lashed the deck, stinging faces and soaking uniforms. Both sides flashed warnings with their lights, sending coded messages through the night, each blink a challenge, each pause a threat. Engines rumbled deep below deck, vibrating through steel and bone. Every second stretched out, heavy with anticipation, as the crews waited for the next move. Time seemed to slow, each heartbeat echoing the thrum of the engines. The tension was thick, almost suffocating, like a storm about to break. Dark clouds gathered overhead, mirroring the uncertainty and fear that gripped every sailor on both ships. Both crews knew what could happen if anyone made a mistake. One wrong move, one misunderstood signal, and the night could erupt into chaos. Hands gripped rails until knuckles turned white, and nervous glances were exchanged in the dim light. The cold wind whipped across the deck, biting through uniforms and chilling the men to the bone. It did nothing to hide the fear etched on their faces, nor the determination burning in their eyes. In those tense moments, the men aboard the Philippine ship thought of home. Some clutched photos of loved ones, others stared out at the endless sea, lost in memories of laughter and warmth far away from this hostile night. But they held their ground, standing firm at their posts. They knew what was at stake, not just their own safety, but the honor of their nation and the future of these contested waters. The Chinese ship, larger and brighter, moved deliberately to block the way, its lights blazing like a warning. It was a show of force, a message that they would not back down. But the Philippine sailors would not turn back. With jaws set and fists clenched, they pushed forward, refusing to yield even an inch of sea. In that moment, the battle was not just between ships. It was a fight over law, over pride, and over the very future of the sea itself. The rules of the ocean, the rights of nations, and the hopes of generations hung in the balance. Far away, in newsrooms and living rooms, the world held its breath. Journalists watched live feeds, families gathered around televisions, and anxious eyes followed every update, waiting to see what would come next on this night when the sea itself seemed to boil with tension. The Chinese Coast Guard ships are huge, towering over the waves like floating fortresses. Their sheer size is meant to intimidate, a clear display of dominance in these contested waters. At night, their searchlights sweep across the sea, cutting through the darkness with blinding intensity. Water cannons, mounted and ready, glint under the harsh beams, a silent warning of the force they can unleash. Their hulls are painted a stark white, boldly marked with red and blue stripes, colors that announce their authority and presence from miles away. Every detail is designed to project power. In contrast, the Filipino ships appear smaller and older, their hulls showing the marks of many years at sea. Yet, there is a quiet pride in their appearance, a testament to resilience and determination. Painted in white and blue, the Filipino vessels carry crews who stand alert at their stations. Their uniforms may be simple, but their posture is unwavering, eyes fixed on the horizon, ready for whatever comes next. Suddenly, the air crackles with the sound of loudspeakers. Chinese officers bark orders across the water, their voices amplified and commanding. "Leave now," they demand, their tone leaving no room for negotiation. But the Filipino captain remains calm, his voice steady as he responds over the radio. "This is our sea." His words are simple, but they carry the weight of history and national pride. Both sides hold their positions, locked in a tense standoff. Each believes they are right, each unwilling to back down. The silence between commands is heavy, filled with unspoken resolve. The Chinese ships begin to maneuver, inching closer, their bows cutting through the water to block the Filipino vessel's path. It's a calculated move, meant to intimidate and force a retreat, but the Filipino vessel slows only slightly, engines humming as it holds its ground. The crew refuses to retreat, their determination visible in every movement. Sometimes the confrontation escalates. Chinese ships unleash their water cannons, sending powerful streams crashing into the Filipino boats. The hull shudder under the impact, metal groaning, sailors gripping the rails as water sprays over the deck. Still, the Filipino crew stands firm. Even as their ship rocks violently, they do not turn back. Their resolve is tested, but not broken. Each sailor knows the risks. Each understands the importance of their mission. In these moments, every action, every decision, carries meaning far beyond the deck of their ship. For the Chinese, this is about projecting power and control. For the Filipinos, it is about resistance, about standing up for their rights and their homeland, no matter the odds. In these tense moments, the conflict is unmistakable. One side pushes forward with overwhelming strength, while the other stands its ground with unyielding heart. Here, power meets resistance, and the world watches to see who will yield first. Each sailor on the sea faces danger. The waves are high and the ships are close. One wrong move could mean disaster. The sailors know this. Their families know it too. Every mission brings fear, but also pride. The captain feels the weight of every decision. Should he go forward or turn back? He sees the faces of his crew, young men and women, some fresh from school, some with children waiting at home. Each one trusts him to keep them safe. Each one is ready to defend their flag. The tension is not just about ships. It is about people, Filipino lives, Chinese lives. The risk is real. A collision, a sudden attack, or a misstep could spark a bigger conflict. The sailors remember stories of others who never returned. They stand together. For them, this is more than a job. It is a duty to country and family. It is a fight for the sea they call home. The West Philippine Sea is not just water, it is life for millions of Filipinos. It gives fish, oil and gas. It is a highway for ships carrying food and goods. It is a part of the country's heart. Many families depend on these waters. They fish, they dive, they sail. The sea is their workplace and their kitchen. It provides jobs and food for towns along the coast. When the sea is threatened, so are their lives. This sea is also about pride. It is marked on maps, sung in songs, and remembered in stories. Children learn about it in school. Soldiers and sailors vow to protect it. The West Philippine Sea is part of what it means to be Filipino. Losing it would mean losing a piece of the nation. That is why every skirmish and every stand matters. The sea is the nation's lifeline, and its future. Fishermen are the first to feel the conflict. They sail out at dawn, hoping for a good catch, but now, they worry. Sometimes they see large Chinese ships, they see barriers and floating fences. Sometimes they are chased away or their boats are damaged. Their wives wait at home, anxious. Will their husbands return? Will they bring fish or only fear? Some fishermen have lost boats, their only source of income. Others come back with stories of being sprayed, shouted at, or blocked from their own waters. Yet, the fishermen do not give up. They fix their boats. They teach their children to be brave. They say prayers before leaving, hoping for a safe trip. Communities gather to support each other. They share food and news about the sea. Their courage is quiet, but strong. They do not carry guns. Their weapons are patience and hope. In every wave, they fight for their future. China has made a sweeping claim over almost the entire South China Sea, a region rich in resources and vital for global trade. Their assertion is bold. They say that nearly all of these waters, stretching far beyond their own shores, belong to them. To reinforce this claim, China has drawn a long, looping 9-dash line on maps marking out what they see as their territory. But it's not just lines on paper. China has physically transformed the sea. They've built massive artificial islands, turning reefs and shoals into military outposts, complete with airstrips, radar systems and barracks. These new bases are now patrolled by large Chinese Coast Guard and Navy ships, which regularly sail through disputed waters, sometimes confronting vessels from other countries. All these actions have sparked deep concern, not just in the Philippines, which is directly affected, but in many neighboring countries and even far beyond Asia. Diplomats and leaders around the world are watching closely, worried about rising tensions and the risk of conflict. The South China Sea isn't just important to China or its neighbors, it's a crucial passageway for international shipping with vessels from all over the world relying on these waters. Ships from Japan, the United States, Europe, and many other nations regularly pass through, transporting everything from electronics to oil. In fact, the South China Sea is one of the world's busiest and most important trade routes. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of goods move through these waters, connecting economies across continents. If China were to control this sea, they could potentially influence or even restrict the flow of goods and oil, impacting global supply chains and energy security. That's why the world is paying such close attention to what happens here. Many countries, both in the region and beyond, strongly disagree with China's sweeping claim. They argue that these waters are international, not the property of any single nation. According to international law, especially the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, known as UNCLOS, China's claim goes far beyond what's allowed. Legal experts say it violates the rules that are meant to keep the seas open and fair for everyone. The United Nations has established clear guidelines to decide who owns what at sea, aiming to prevent exactly these kinds of disputes. In 2016, an international court in The Hague ruled that China's 9-dash line has no legal basis and that their actions violate the rights of other countries. This was a landmark decision, welcomed by many nations. However, China rejected the ruling outright, insisting that their historical claims are valid and refusing to change their approach. The conflict over the South China Sea is much bigger than just a disagreement between two countries. It's a test of international rules, fairness, and the principle of freedom of navigation. At its core, this dispute is about whether the world's oceans remain open and free for all, or if powerful nations can rewrite the rules to suit themselves. The outcome will shape the future of global trade and security for years to come. The Philippines is a small country compared to China. Its navy is small, its ships are old. Fighting with force is not an option. Instead, the Philippines chose a different path. It went to the courts. In 2013, the Philippines asked an international tribunal for help. The court listened to both sides. It looked at the facts and the law. In 2016, the court decided the West Philippine Sea belongs to the Philippines. China's lines on the map are not legal. The Philippines did not use guns. It used documents, maps, and arguments. It trusted in the power of law. This was brave. It showed the world that even a small country can stand up for its rights. This choice inspired many. It proved that justice can be stronger than warships. Victory for the Philippines does not mean taking land by force. It means standing firm for what is right. The country showed the world that the law matters. Even when facing a giant, it did not back down. The tribunal's decision was clear. The world heard it. The Philippines keeps reminding everyone of this victory. It uses the ruling to build alliances and win support. Other countries now see the Philippines as brave and wise. Victory also means hope. Fishermen feel proud. Children learn that their country stood up for itself. The sea is still a place of risk, but it is also a place of courage. The battle was not won with ships or guns, but with truth and unity. That is the kind of victory that lasts. The conflict is not over. Chinese ships still come. Filipino sailors and fishermen still face danger. But something has changed. The world now knows the story. The Philippines has found its voice. More countries are speaking out. They support the rule of law. They send ships to show that the sea is for everyone. The Philippines is not alone anymore. Its example leads others to stand for what is right. The sea remains a place of challenge, but hope is stronger now. Filipinos look to the horizon with courage. They believe that justice, not force, will shape their future. The Philippines has won the battle that matters most. It fought for law, for its people, and for the future of the sea.